In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to effectively control the date range of a line chart using two date slicers in Power BI. Now, there are a few methods to achieve this, and the one you choose will depend on how you want your slicers to interact with your visuals. Let's dive right in and explore your options. Imagine you have a typical setup where your goal is to have two slicers, one representing the start date, or from, and the other representing the end date, or to. Your line chart should then be able to showcase data strictly within these two selected date boundaries. While there are multiple methods to accomplish this task, we're going to focus on an approach that respects the need for distinct start and end date controls. First off, it's essential to understand that using a single date table in conjunction with a between slicer is the simplest method. However, since you're specifically looking for a dual slicer setup, this method won't quite suit your user interface needs. Instead, let's delve into Method 2, which involves using two separate slicers combined with a measure that filters data in the line chart according to the slicer selection. To begin, you'll need to create a date table if you don't already possess one. This table should relate to your fact table through a date column. This step lays the groundwork for ensuring your slicers and measures can interact smoothly. Once that's set up, move on to creating two disconnected slicers. Typically, you achieve this by utilizing the same date table and then adding it to slicer visuals. You may also opt to create separate date tables for each slicer if that's what your scenario demands. For illustration, place the date table date within a slicer visual and name it From Date. Repeat this process with another slicer, calling it ToDate. Following the slicer creation, it's time to craft a measure. This measure will leverage DAX functions such as selected value, min, or max, which will help extract the dates selected in these slicers. Consequently, your fact table within the line chart will be filtered to display data only between these chosen dates. To give you a clearer vision of this process, you might use DAX code like this: filtered sales equal VAR, from equal min, date table from, date, VAR, to equal max, date table to, date, return calculate, sum, fact sales, filter, all, fact date, is, from, ends, fact date, to. Incorporate this measure into your line chart by setting the x-axis with the date from your main date table. The y-axis, then, will use the filtered sales measure. For improved user experience, consider renaming your slicers to From and To. Also, it's advisable to include logic in your measure for scenarios where a user might not select a From or To date. Defaulting to the full date range, or perhaps defaulting to today's date, can be beneficial. With these steps, you should be able to achieve the desired functionality for controlling your date range via two slicers in Power BI. Thank you for watching, and happy data visualizing.